All right, so step-by-step business planning. Let's see how many people we have. People are still coming in, so I'm going to do the pleasantries first to my ROG in Philly, Craig Lurch. Look at him, handsome devil. He's doing his thing. Dave Luxury Lawson is in Park City, waiting for the snow to come so you can ski down the slopes into luxury homes.
That's right.
I don't know who else do we have on here today. Let me see. Let me change this around. Okay. Trying to get
Um,
who else? We got Brian on. Brian's back from Montana. Look at him. He's out of the rivers and out of the forest and ready to go. And I think that's our crew today. A lot of people have a lot of things going on, which is great because I feel the market's picking up. You know, it's been going in spurts and a lot more inventory is coming on. So if anybody has any buyers right now, make sure you get in front of them, you guys. I'm telling you, this is an opportunity right now to really take advantage of the market and get a great deal and then sit on the sidelines and refinance later when the rates start dropping. Because I feel there's a lot of money on the sidelines. A lot of people are waiting for this election. There's a lot of unknown out there. So people basically paralyze themselves when it's unknown. The good news is you're going to have less competition right now, and you got to get people going and understanding that they're kind of walking around la di da, have plenty of time. That's not the case. This is when you can get a really, really great opportunity for a great price. And you'll look back 6 months from now and say, God, I wish I bought in October. That was the time to do it. That's just my take on it, my feeling. Um, you can
like,
get in now. Yeah, go
yeah.
ahead, Dave.
So I got in late last night. I was in Las Vegas at the Zillow conference. Ross was there. A bunch of people that
Yeah.
I were there. And I went to two of the sessions, breakout sessions that had the economists, and they both said things. They both said them in slightly different ways. And then we had Barry Habib come in and talk about what's going on. And they all are saying the same thing, which I've been saying for 6 months also. So this is the issue, gang. And what Pete said is right on. Okay. Zillow and all the economists are predicting that the amount of sales are going to go up, in the 10% range. So we're going to have 500,000 homes that are going to be sold in 2024 more. And some people are predicting another million. There's other things that are with working with the market with the jobs rate and the economy and all that. It's really, really going to push the interest rates down. People, I mean, they're expecting a quarter point in the next two Fed meetings. So that'll put us down 1 point, and then they're predicting between 1 and 1.25 next year. So what that means is we have two forces that are really, really good for our buyers. And that is that just what you said. You can buy right now, there's inventory, you can negotiate, you can get repairs, you can get all that. And the other thing is what happens when interest rates go down? Every single time. I mean, I was in business and economist. That's what I went to school for, right? And it's the old supply and demand. And what is going to happen for sure is prices. There's so many people that are sitting on the sidelines that are waiting to buy, that those are the people that are going to come into the market. The other thing is there's people that have been waiting for a really long time to move up, move down, move sideways, move to this place, or for whatever what are your five Ds, Pete? They're all waiting. And when this happens, then the demand is going to go way up and then prices are going to go up. And Barry Habib did this phenomenal thing that said, even if you paid a little bit over full price for a home, And at least in our market, you're going to probably recover that in the 3 to 6 month range in appreciation. So this is the time, gang, to get out there, get your buyers. I mean, we are just, and the other thing is, I don't, we all know that we're all from from all over the country, but I can tell you in Park City and Salt Lake and all that, we are the market. I mean, we're killing it right now. But what we're doing is we're educating our buyers. That's the key. If you educate the buyers and tell this story. And the thing is, I don't have to say it's from me. I just got back from the Zillow conference and I listened to 2 economists, and this is what they're going to say, or what they said. Are you familiar with Barry Habib? This is what he said. This is what Lawrence Yun said, right? So I just wanted to open that because I spent 3 days there, and now, man, I am pumped because we're going to be, Dylan, my son, he's in the next room right now. He is calling our buyers with this story right now. So there you go.
No, I think you're dead on, Dave. You're dead on. And you guys, Dave just gave you a golden nugget right there. Use a third party recommendation or a third party reference when speaking with your buyers right now, because only give your opinion or your feeling if they ask for it. But when you give the feelings or opinions like, Lawrence Young, who is the lead economist for the National Association of Realtors, or Barry Habib, who's like a rock star economist mortgage guy that really reads into mortgage rates and where they're trending and how it's going to affect different markets. That's a big third party recommendation. And you can even find articles online and start handing them out at your open houses or hand them out at other things. I know we're off topic right now. I know we're supposed to be talking about, step by step building your business and your systems, but I think this is too important right now, and a topic that is really top of mind on every buyer's mind as far as where this market's trending and what's going on. Don't allow your buyers to get paralyzed by the media. Everybody's getting paralyzed by the media. I'm telling you, they're going to come to you in 6 months and say, thank God you had me move forward. Thank God you suggested to buy. I was dealing with a young couple over the last couple days, and they're buying their first house. And she said, I'm expecting a baby in February. Don't you think we should wait until after I have the baby? I said, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I said, right now is the time. Buy it, get in. I said, after February, the competition's going to be fierce. And I don't care how much the inventory builds, the competition's going to be fierce. And you're going to be paying a lot more for a house because those rates are going to come down and a lot of people are going to flood into the market. We'll have to see how deep the buyer pool is. I mean, I think certain price sectors are going to fare better than others, and certain locations will fare better than others. But get in front of your buyers today. That's the discussion you want to have. Say, listen, a friend of mine just got back from the National Zillow conference, and they had all the leading economists looking at inventory, looking at the economy, looking at interest rates. And this is what they suggested. And then pause and say, so what do you think? When do you want to move forward? That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you got to ask, and don't say anything. And they will tell you when they want to move forward. I think that's a big, big thing. Well, okay, let's start it up. I get David
on Zillow, right? I mean, so many buyers are already using Zillow. So when you say Zillow said, they're going to listen. So, all right. Pete, I didn't mean to hack that, but go ahead, guys.
Pete, real quick.
Go ahead,
what you said also makes you a point of difference. When you're talking with buyers that are calling you the first time, you say, look, I've got some updates I want to give you. It's going to show you as a point of difference of knowing more than the other agent if they're just calling around of why they should be working with you. So that information that David just shared and you just shared, I'm like, this is great. Anytime I talk to a buyer, I'm like, by the way, have you heard what is going on in the industry? We've been in, most agents are just going to start throwing up on them if they need to sign a buyer agency. Explain it and show it added value. Now, all of a sudden, they're going to have a better pull of you. Thank you, David. That was an awesome golden nugget.
I love that. And that'll help everyone right now, because I'm hearing from a lot of agents right now saying that they're having problems or struggling with getting buyers off the fence, that buyers are just sitting there and waiting. And you guys, you have to create the abundance. You have to create the environment. You have to create where you feel the market's going and how to help these people, because they're going to be pretty upset with you if they wait until next year and they look back and say, God, why didn't you suggest that I buy back in October? That was the key time. If you guys really look at the sales in August and September, they were way down. They were way down because there's so many people just paralyzed sitting on the sidelines. Get them off the sidelines, get them fired up. Say, listen, we need to find a house this weekend. And here's why. This is the information I just received. And these are from the top people. It's like getting an insider's track of what's happening and where this market's going. Do you like having inside information? I do. Do you like getting the bottom line? We'll get the bottom line and we'll make your dreams come true. This is what we have to do. We have to take that first step and create that urgency in your voice. You know, nobody's going to do it if you say, hey, so what do you think you want to do? You know, the economist just told me that, you know, rates will probably come down. And yeah, no shit. Everybody knows that. But you got to get them moving. You got to get excited. You got to stand up. You know, motion creates emotion. Talk to people, get them going, and say, listen, let's get it going right now. You need the write-off, so let's get it going. What are we waiting for? You got to be crazy. This is the time to do it.
Okay,
what do you want to buy?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dave.
Last tip. Sorry, gang. So here's a thing that we're using, and I've used it when I really believe that that's the right time to buy. So I say, hey, Pete, can you pull out your phone, and in 9 months from now, I want you to set 9 months from today, I want you to set a reminder in your phone to call me and say thank you to me for helping you decide to buy today. And then what we're going to do on that day is we're going to look, and I'm going to tell you what your house is worth and where the interest rates were and where they've gone. And then you're going to buy me a cup of coffee. Fair enough?
I love that. That's great. And I like how you push it into the future, right? It's future tense, that they're thinking about what's going to happen. But
I'm so confident because
right.
of what I'm hearing, that the advice that I'm giving you is based on Zillow, based on all these different economists, right? So I believe it. And then when you say that, you're like, wow, he really does believe this. Now, if you're in Florida or somebody, and maybe you don't believe that the market is going to be changed by then or whatever, obviously you don't do it, because you should never say something that you don't believe in your heart. But in a lot of the markets out there, that's what I mean. And we've done this for 10 years and it works like magic. Okay, I'm gonna shut up.
No, these are dynamite tips. You're coming off a Vegas run and you're throwing out nuggets like it's nobody's business. You must have won some money in Vegas or something, because you're throwing all the chips on the table. I like this.
Well, we're in
he's
Zillow
going
Flex, and they said we're going to get. They have so many. The prediction is they're going to have 50% more connections for Zillow partners. That means they're saying there's 50% more buyers that they're going to be expecting in 2025. Why wouldn't I be excited?
Yeah, you guys, just ask your buyers this question. Do you think when rates go lower and people can qualify for more and it's way more affordable and it's a better option than throwing their money down the toilet paying for rent, do you think more buyers get into the market and start buying property, or do you think less buyers get in the market and start buying property? Let them answer that question. They'll say more. So say, why would we wait until the competition is high to do this? Let's do it now, and you'll be laughing. But you got to honestly believe it. It has to be authentic. It has to be, you have to be committed to it. You can't just put one toe in the water and say, oh, maybe this will happen. No, you got to be You know, this has to be part of you. They have to feel that energy. They have to feel that this is accurate information that you receive that a lot of other people don't have, and you're giving them the insider track to this information that's going to benefit their life. Can I have a yes and yes, like Dave always says?
Yes.
He loves the yes and yes. See, look at it.
Yeah.
He's right into it. All right, so let's get back on topic here, and somebody remind me of the topic, because I'm blown away now based on what Dave's filling me in with. On, I knew he went to that conference, so I was very excited to get some tips.
Was
Yeah,
talking
so
about
step by step business plan.
Mitchie. So Mitchie's got a limited voice, but still he's kind of like the voice of Oz right behind the curtain. And and by the way, Craig Lurch is not the main character from the movie Up. He is the ROG in Philly, just so you know. Anyways, so let's get back to this on step by step. I want to turn it over to Lurch, because he has unbelievable business with the step by step. Lurchy, give me your step by step, what you're doing right now to not only generate buyers, but to generate listings in your business.
I think the biggest thing goes in the business plan is look at where you were and where you want to go. And in the business plan, it's not just about the gross, it's the net. I can be honest with you, what we've done, we literally sat down and took the past 24 months of every one of our expenses and credit card renewal things and said, what are we doing? Where is it at? Is it giving us a return or not? Because that's budgeting on what we're going to do in this 90-day segment. As I mentioned, I always work in 90 days. Yes, I work in a year, but I'm in 90 days. I've got 87 days left till December 31st for this one. And our goal was this one is to rip apart everything that isn't working and revamp it, and or also implement new things that we've been talking about. So we're not doing knee-jerk reactions and just signing subscriptions and things of that nature. In 1 week with my VAs, in 2 hours of work, we saved $3,000. How many people would like to spend 2 hours and save $3,000 in a year all day long? And some of this stuff has been on reoccurring for 18 months that I didn't even know about, that I forgot, because somewhere it came on our system and it kicked in after a free trial. So shame on me. That's number one. Look at your bills, look at your expenses, what's working and what's not. Analyze it. And that's really big. Number two is what we're doing with the clients is exactly this change in the market is huge. You got to become the expert. We're using that in reasons to call our buyers, like we just were talking about, but also be the information. I love talking with other agents because a lot of them, 80% of them are confused. This is a great opportunity. If you're not with EXP and you're watching this, this is one of the reasons I love EXP. I can help change lives of other agents by having them come to EXP. So I'm educating them on what we're doing and how's it going forward with the technology, with the forms, and how we're living in abundance versus putting our head in the sand. All right. If you are with EXP, this is a great chance to, again, build your business of more rev share. Get one person, 2 people, 3 people, 5, whatever your goal is. Set it into your plan and look at it as if they're also buyers and sellers. But my biggest thing is I'm working hard on my past clients. We've got into our system through Thanks.io. I think it's now 500 of our past clients are now in with birthdays and house anniversaries. And Thanks.io is sending, there's different companies, but Thanks.io sends it 8 days prior to, and it just gets done. And it's automatically. We've set up postcard systems that are going to our clients automatically. Our postcards are done for the next 4 months. They're already systematized, done. Get a VA, get somebody to do it, but set your plan, know what it is, and then get out of the way of it. Our problem is we're always hurrying up to wait. Don't. Just get it done in your downtime. If this is downtime, which it shouldn't be, the last quarter is the time when players make money. Brian said this before. Randy said this before. I love this time of year. You know why? You've got roughly 90 days, of which most people are going to figure 60 of it's holidays. Bullshit. Yeah. It's totally opposite. There's 6 days of holiday. That's it. Do I party? Do I go places? Do I do everything? Yes. But guess what? While everybody's hungover, everybody's tired, get your butt out of bed, get on the phone, go show houses. This is when people want to buy or sell. This is when real buyers and real sellers are, because this will fill your pipeline coming into next year. And you'll start out strong versus all of a sudden in February, you're sitting here doing the SpongeBob going, blah, 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 what am I going to do? That's how silly it is to wait. So, Pete, you asked the question, set your plan, whatever it is. Put it in your big rocks of what you're doing, your prospecting, put your mailers in, put your daily productive activities in, and then start stirring the water up and deal with units. Don't deal with money. Zero the money out. Don't look at the money. The money will make you comfortable. The units will make you uncomfortable. That's what I work with. And then go in there and try to cut 10% of your expenses. There's a goal by the end of the year. Cut 10% of all your business expenses going into the new year. You'll be amazed at how much money you're wasting, because I'm doing it and it's amazing and it hurts and it's embarrassing. So there's vulnerability for you.
I love that. But I mean, there's some great tips in there. You know, guys, here's the deal. We're all giving you what we're doing. None of us are perfect. There's times we all have to flip the switch, or we have problems, or we're saying, hey, nothing's happening. You have to get out of that mindset. You have to live in an abundance mindset and know that when you're on this mastermind, you are wealth builders. You are building wealth just being here. You got to get in that mindset, because you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. The people who are comfortable being comfortable, they don't do anything. The people who are comfortable being uncomfortable, they do great things. So I put a book in there, just kind of piggyback what Lurchie said. He said, you know, he takes it in 90-day increments. So 90-day increments is 12 weeks. There's a great book, if you haven't read it yet, it's called The 12-Week Year. And it's how you can do more in 12 weeks than most people do in a year. And you should read that book, because it really breaks down all the things that you need to do to be driving your business in that 90-day period. And that's all you have to look at is the next 90 days. Craig's dead on. Like I always say, champions win in the fourth quarter. We're in the fourth quarter. It started yesterday, right? No, the day before. Started October 1st. That's the fourth quarter. Champions and big time players show up in the fourth quarter. Live in abundance. That's what we need to do, because some people will get sidetracked. It's almost like they ate too much turkey at Thanksgiving and they fall asleep throughout December, and then they're licking so many candy canes and other stuff and opening up presents that they feel great about themselves. Then they get past New Year's and they say, now what? You build your first quarter of next year right now, over the next 90 days or the next 12 weeks. Super important, step by step. And like Dave always says, and Lurch just said it, once you set up the system and you get it running, it's done. Be one and done. You don't have to dwell on it. You don't have to sit there and avoid doing the things that you need to do to make money right now, which is prospecting, which is getting in front of people, which is having real conversations, which is doing open houses, which is converting people, which is follow-up. You know, guys, I called one of the top luxury agents in Beverly Hills 2 weeks ago. I've called him 3 times now. I've texted him twice. Nothing, crickets. So if he's treating me that way, and I'm not anybody special, I called just for some information on something, and I know him well. What do you think they're doing with the buyers who are sitting on the fence? You know what they're doing? They're like at a deli line, taking a number, saying next, next, and they're letting all these people walk away. You got to nail these people down and say, look, let me help you get what you want. I'm going to strategize this whole thing, map it out, and show you where we need to go. Is that what you had in mind? That's a closing question. Is that what you had in mind? Great. Let's move forward. That's it. Otherwise, they'll stay status quo because everybody's afraid.
You were saying, as the people were planning out, Brian mentioned it last year, and we're getting one for 2025. We didn't do it. It's called the Big Ass Calendar. the big one. It's like the whole year laid it out. I think a bunch of us had showed
Jesse
it.
Itzler.
Get that coming in now and start setting up your whole year. Know what you're doing. Know where your vacations are. Put that plan in place and go from there. But Pete, there's something else. You got to put a fire under yourself. And then if you're with EXP and you haven't become an icon yet, figure out how to become an icon. If you're not with EXP, get in here and figure out how to do an icon. Don't figure out how to do an icon in 1 year. Figure out how to do it in 6 months. Run your business on 6 months. You want to talk about a fire under your ass? I decided 2 years ago, hanging out with this group, I'm not functioning in 12 months. I'm functioning 90 days and 6 months. I'm going to icon twice in 2024. I can't get paid twice, but I'm going to hit my numbers twice in 24. I double dog anybody to set a fire under your ass and do it. Set your goal and do it in 6 months. Don't do it in a year. Take the rest of the year off if you're making too much money. God bless you. Donate it. But why stress yourself out for a whole year? All right, I'm off my bandwagon, Billy.
I agree. I agree. You know, my saying is the fortune that you want is in the follow-up that you're not doing. The fortune that you want is in the follow-up that you're not doing. Just start doing it, you guys. Reach out to people. And when you think, oh my God, nobody needs me, nobody wants me, this, that. Everybody wants to get ahead in life. Everybody wants a step-by-step system. Everybody wants a step-by-step, how can I buy this? Or how can I, get on the beach? Or how can I get a lake house? Or how can I get a ski home? Or you have to have a step-by-step system that you walk them through on that. Lurch, awesome stuff. I mean, you're really bringing the heat in October. You must be, I'm going to start calling you Mr. October. That's it. That's your new
Red
name,
October,
Mr.
it's
October.
baseball time. It's playoff time.
It's not,
Let's go.
yeah, it's not Reggie Jackson. It's you. It's the ROG coming out of Philly. Mr. October.
That's right.
I love that. All right, let's go over to Dave Lawson. Dave, we're coming back to you after all those great nuggets. Step by step, walk me through what you're doing in this last quarter of the year to really drive business.
What we're doing, we're doing a few things, and Lurch already said it. Next Wednesday, I'm taking my management team, my director of operations, my sales manager, and myself and Drew, and we're going off site for our EOS meeting. And what do we do in that? We set our goals for the next quarter and also for the next year. And when you take your team, whether it's you or it's 2 people or 3 people, and you get out of the office and you work on your business instead of in your business, it's amazing what you can do. And in there, we set up all of our goals, what we want to do, what we want to accomplish, when do we want to accomplish it by. And with the team, I'm on this back to basics thing. So I'm saying, raise your hand if you want to make 3, 4, 5, 10 times as much money in the next year, right? And if you think about basics, so I'm reteaching the thing about go back to high school. So Pete, when you were in high school, I know that was 12 years ago, right? So
Yes,
what
it
did you
was.
do at 8 o'clock? You went to first
8
period.
o'clock,
right?
first period, I showed up.
Yeah, and then at 9 o'clock, second period, 10 o'clock,
second
third period. And did you have to think about what you were doing at 11 o'clock Monday through Friday? No, it was in your schedule, right? And the gang, if so many people get into real estate because they want to have freedom and do whatever they want and all that. And you can do that and you can be poor, we're in the sales business, gang. So we have to sell. So if you put in your schedule the things, and I've said this many times, there's 100 things to do in real estate. Yes or yes, right?
Yes.
There's only 4 things that make you money. And I've said this before, it's prospecting, PLAN, prospecting, lead follow-up, appointments with buyers and sellers, and negotiating contracts. And I might change it to plans with an S, which would be social media, maybe. But those are the things that make us money. If we go to basics and we focus on those things. So if that's what we're going to do, what do you need to do in your business plan? You need to commit to how many phone calls and how many meetings and break it down. The other thing that I do is I say, Pete, how much do you want to make? I want to make $500,000 this year. Okay. What's your average sale price? How many transactions? Okay. How many are you going to have to put under contract? Because we know 10% fail. Okay. So you add 10%. So if we're going to put that many under contract, how many offers are you going to have to write? Okay. That's a number. If you want to write that many offers, how many appointments are you going to have with buyers or sellers, right? And then what is your ratio? Do you all know what your ratio is when you show a buyer or you go on a listing appointment? By the way, I take 83% of the listings that I go on, and I turn down 6% because I'm not taking the listing for one reason or another, and I lose 11, right? So I know my numbers, right? And then after that, you break it down, and how many appointments are gonna have to set, and how many phone calls am I gonna need to make those appointments? So it's breaking your business down. That's not, I'm not, I like to look sometimes at the big picture, and the big picture just gets me dreaming. But when you focus your business down to the actual details, the actual things that you need to do, and then you do them. And the other thing is so you put this in a business plan. There, you can get them anywhere. If, you know, Craig, I thought, which one of you showed the Buffini? I think it was the Buffini one, but it doesn't matter. You can go to any of the companies and get them, right? But if you just break down the numbers, and then here's the key: don't do a business plan and stick it in your desk and not look at it. You need to be looking at it daily and weekly, and you need to set, and this is where a business plan doesn't work in the quarter. It needs to work on the weekly basis. So one of the things that I did a long time ago is Saturday morning is the time with my kids, or, I don't really want to work on Saturday mornings. So one of the things is I told everybody on my team, I told my friends in the business, I told my wife and my family, I told Pete, and I said, this is what I'm going to do today or this week. I am not going to let a week go by where I'm not going to talk to. And at that time, it was 100 people. I talked to 100 people. So if it's Friday afternoon, I've only talked to 88 people that week, then I got to do 12 more. What happens if I only talk to 6 and I get to 92? So on Saturday morning, instead of being with my family or kids or my wife or doing what I want, what I needed to do is get up, take a shower, get dressed, drive to the office like I'm going to work, and I'd make those 8 phone calls, right? When I was done with 8 phone calls, I would go home. And I would be so damn mad at myself for not doing what I promised to myself, that in all the years that I did that, I went to work on a Saturday 3 times, right? So it's breaking it down, and we could have a whole session on how to actually do that. Maybe we should do that, Pete, where we bring up a business plan and we show people exactly what to do. But either you have a plan or you don't. You plan to win or you plan to fail. So since we only have a little bit, I mean, I could talk a lot more on it, but that's really the main thing is, well, one last thing, and I'm going to say it again because I think it's so critically important. What we do in the last quarter is what sets us up for the first quarter in the next year. I tell people that You know, they start going to real estate conferences in October. Then there's Halloween parties, and then they get ready for Thanksgiving, and then they have too much turkey, and then they start doing Christmas parties, and then they get ready for Christmas, and then they have Christmas, and then they have to take the next week off because they're tired, and then they have New Year's Eve, and then they have New Year's Day hangover, and they wake up January 10th or 15th with, holy cow, I have no business. And the other thing is if you flip that upside down and you tell yourself, this is the time to do it. First of all, this is the time where there's going to be more buyers, more inventory. There's way more sellers. The opportunity is way better. And the competition is, they're floating in the clouds right now. So that's what I'm going to end with. So don't be that person. Be the one who is going to set up the quarter and rock it for next year.
That's awesome stuff. Eric, can you please mute your phone? Eric Gross. Anyways, I think that's great. And Dave, awesome information. It's so true. I mean, you guys, you have to set yourself up now for that next quarter. That's what we're talking about, a step-by-step system. But you also have to look in the mirror today and say to yourself, because you have more conversations with yourself than anyone else. It's in your head, right? You have to ask yourself, am I inspired by real estate? Am I inspired by it? Am I committed to it? Am I obsessed with it? Because there's three different things. If you're inspired by it, you're going to do it to a certain point. If you're committed to it, yeah, you'll show up and you'll go through the process. But if you're obsessed with it, to knowing the inventory and helping people and helping them live the American dream and get what they need and changing their families' lives and paths and bringing that to the world, you'll win. So you have to ask yourself, am I really obsessed with doing real estate? And trust me, all of us get burnt out at times. All of us get sick of the grind and so forth, but you have to flip that switch. You are a wealth builder when you get in that mindset, that obsessed mindset that I'm going to help as many people as I can get the best opportunities in the marketplace right now. And you have to create that urgency and create that connection. That's really, really key. I want to go over to Brian Yarber because I know Brian, if he's still on, I believe he is. I know
Yep.
Brian has a lot of, and I'm going to go Brian, then I'm going to go Corinna because she's on, and she's the rose between all the thorns. And then I'm going to go to Cam Smith down there in Florida on the next gen level. So Brian, give me some business step-by-step right now that people should be doing to really set up this final quarter.
Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. And a lot of what Dave said, I use the same philosophy. I'm going to present it differently to maybe give you a visual. So if you picture and imagine, you've got buckets. Okay, you have 4 buckets. To every sales industry has 4 buckets. Real estate is no different. Our buckets tend to be 4 buckets. Okay, it's this simple for me, and I teach this all the time. You have an opportunity bucket. That one's you automate. That's your opportunities that are coming in. Wherever they're coming from, they're coming into you if you automate them correctly. But then there's also times when you might not have the ability to automate. So those are when you're out doing open houses and door knocking and networking, and you're looking for opportunities. The opportunities are people who you don't know that day, but you met them that day, and you're putting them in your second bucket, which is your lead bucket. And what I qualify as a lead is not somebody who goes out and looks at property, not somebody who will do anything other than communicate with me in a way that they understand what I do and I know who they are. And we have a common interest in their outcome, which is eventually a real estate transaction. I don't move leads to appointments until they've interacted with me at least 2 or 3 times. And I understand that they will respond to me, because if I email Cam back, I just met Cam yesterday at the park. Cam says oh, you're in real estate, Brian? How's the market? And I'm like, okay, so we interact. And then I would be sending Cam like, hey, Cam, it was nice meeting you yesterday. I just to confirm, here's what we talked about yesterday. Let me know if anything's changed since we met. And now I'm gonna pull back, because if Cam interacts with me pretty quickly, then I'm gonna interact back. So I have to know to dialogue from an opportunity into a lead. I don't put leads into appointments until they've actually had a buyer consultation with me. They sit down with their lender, and I really know what their qualifications are and how to set appointments with them. And then my last bucket obviously is transactions. So like Dave was saying, if you don't know your numbers, here's how you do this. Opportunities should be abundance. You have lots of opportunities all the time. Get very skilled at moving your opportunities into a lead bucket, but do not show property to these lead bucket people, or do not go on listing appointments until you're absolutely clear that you guys have their outcome completely convinced and on paper and what you're doing before you move them to an appointment. Too many people, too many agents start to show opportunities, properties, thinking that if they just look at enough properties, they'll do all the things. And then what you do is you waste a lot of time showing property. You need to be showing property to people who've only sat down with you. On a scale of 1 to 10, where do you see yourselves today as buyers in this market? If they don't say they're a 10, they're not an appointment to me. I got to get them ready to become a 10, because no seller is going to deal with a buyer who's not ready, right? That's just what's going on. And then I have my follow-up bucket, which is the very end bucket, and that's my past clients. So knowing your numbers, here's what I've learned with most agents. We're all good at one of these buckets. And if we have 100 opportunities, and those 100 opportunities turn into 30 leads, those 30 leads turn into 10 appointments, those 10 appointments should turn into, like Dave was saying, a ratio of how many appointments do I need to be on to create a transaction and to be either in a listing or a buyer lead that is now writing offers with me. And then those final people who make it to that fourth bucket are my past clients. And that's who I'd stay in touch with 90% of the time anyway. So think of buckets and move them through buckets. And when you have a bucket that you're not good at, and most agents are not good at appointments, I'm just saying it, that is the bucket where you move people too quick. You think a lead is somebody that's going to go look at property with you. They haven't even sat down with a lender yet. They tell you they're pre-approved or pre-qualified, but they did it themselves on Quicken Books last night. They wanted to just go see a house and just hit Zillow today. And they just want to waste your time you're a door opener for that situation. And then that doesn't lead to anything. So you have to know your numbers, because if you're skilled and you get to know your numbers, you get all your weekends off. You spend all your time at your kids' soccer games. You get to do things that you want to do. And you have a business plan that will lead you to success. And like we were hearing, put the big rocks in. Well, my big rocks are not closing escrows. My big rocks are family and this and trips and all these other things. My business is built on trust, right? The reliance upon spoken truth. That's the word broken down. If I have a great relationship with these people and they trust me, our real estate transactions are the byproduct of me having a lot of trust with a lot of people that understand I care about them. I've got their best interest at heart. I'm not going to waste their time. I'm not going to let them waste their time. And I'm going to focus on their outcome and buy into their outcome so they can do what they do best, which is go earn money the way they earn it. And together we'll just kind of go through this funnel. So and here's something we didn't hear earlier. I'll just put this out there. In Southern California, every time there has been a hurricane on the East Coast, we suffer hugely with two availabilities here on the West Coast. One is product. The cost of windows and concrete and wood and all the things that go to FEMA, they affect us here tremendously on the West Coast. And number two, we lose a whole bunch of really good qualified contractors who leave here to go to the devastated areas. So I'm prepared to know that all the flips and all the investors are going to have a little bit of a tough time hitting their deadlines, and the availability of the products that people are using right now to rehab their homes is going to get slowed up. It's just a fact. And when that happens, things change here on the West Coast. I don't know how this one's going to play out, but over the years, I've been through enough of what happened in Houston, what happens in Florida, what happens when there's horrific, like what happened, Pete, you guys got hit all the way up in Tennessee in this one. So there's devastation across the country. And what it's going to do, it's going to change our market here for a period of time, and it's usually 24 months. I'll
That's
leave it at
great
that.
stuff, Brian. I love all the buckets and I love the organizing the buckets because I think it gives you a clear understanding of where you stand in each bucket. You know, you should be reviewing each bucket every week. How many people do I have in my first bucket, second bucket, third bucket? How many transactions do I have going on in my fourth bucket? How many people am I following up with on my fifth bucket? You know, Mitch can't really talk, you guys, so I'm just going to read what he kind of wrote in there. He basically said, look, one thing that motivates me each day is the statement, if nothing changes, nothing changes. If you do not get where you want to be this year, then what are you changing? That's his first point. The second point, this is actually from Craig Lurch, otherwise known as the ROG, right? The real estate opportunity guy. He said, your new year actually starts November 1st. By doing this, you will have closings in January and not get your first closings in February or March. That's what most agents do. And they're under the gun, so they get commission breath because they're trying to pay all the credit cards from the holidays. What are you going to do and what are you doing with your database? You should be going through your database and organizing it right now. That is your gold. That's where your gold is. You should be in front of them twice a month to maximize success, either through an email, through a call, through a text, something, be in front of them. Because remember, people don't forget about you. They just think you forget about them. So why should they reward you or pass your name along? Think about it, right? We've all worked with contractors before. If the contractors kept following up with us saying, hey, how's everything going? Is there anything else you need? Can I do another job for you? Do you need any help? Do any of your friends need any help? They would be top of mind. And if they did a good job, you'd probably pass them along. Reactive agents are waiting for something to happen. Proactive agents build systems in their business to have a predictable business. Which one do you want to be? Do you want to be reactive to the market, or do you want to be proactive and go out there and create the market? That's the key. All right, let's go over to Corinna. I always butcher her name. I apologize. I'm Bostonian. You can call me Pat, or Pitt if you want instead of Pete. But Corinna's
You're gonna
up.
have to learn how to park your car at Karina's house.
Karina's. Yeah, that's right. So Karina's up. And I want your step-by-step tips right now that you're doing for the remainder of the year with your business to get maximum listings and buyers going.
So actually, when I saw Mitch's note the other day, I wrote it for the whole year, but you can use this quarter by quarter because I run my business month by month, and not just like Craig, but it comes from software sales, having a code. You know, I had so much I had to make in order to keep my job each month, right? With the big software companies like Oracle or whoever. So I run a quarterly business. And so everything I'm about to go through is something everybody can use, whether you're new, you're feeling like you're a little mediocre this year because it's been a weird year, or if you're an expert realtor, I think all of this stuff will work. I have a PDF, so I'll upload it when we're done. Okay, so hang on to the ride. But David, I have to tell you, you took my words right off of my PDF. It's back to the basics with Karina with KISS, keeping it simple, stupid. It's not the kissing bit today. And so anyways, do you like that? So the first one is you have to master your niche. So pick a niche. Everybody wants to do everything, right? And when you do, you're not a master of anything. You're just bouncing around with the bubbles. So pick a niche. So my thought when writing this out the other day for today was pick something that's going to elevate your business. So if you're used to going to first-time buyers, that's great. But now pick something else to go master. If you want to get into the luxury homes and you don't know how to get in there, first of all, that's where you should go because you're going to make more money per house, right? But you're also going to have less problems because when you sell a luxury home, people are not fighting over who's going to pay for the hot water heater. It's a non-problem, right? Now you're not going in your pocket to pay for the hot water heater to get everybody to closing, or finding out that in an FHA contract, you can just rip it out of the house and not have a hot water heater, period. Then it's on them when they close after closing. But the thing is that you really need to pick a niche. And if you're really great at one, start picking up a new one. So there's lots to be trained on. We've done a lot of stuff on this, this particular talk that we do every week. So go back into Workplace and look at some of the past ones. If you're not sure, you could reach out to any one of us. We'd be happy to talk to you. The next is you have to specialize your knowledge. So through certifications. So while you're out there talking to people, find something that you're going to get your next round of CE classes, and it will make you smarter, and you will not help but talk about this whole new niche that you're in. You will find people by just talking. When you're going through that, you need to also leverage your technology. So I'm a big CRM fan. And if you're not using your CRM, you're missing a lot of business. And Mitch always says you can make 6 figures on your phone, just in your phone. So if you don't even want to touch the CRM because you don't want to learn and it's the last quarter and you're trying to blow it out, go to your phone and start calling people. Ask them for their birthdays, just like what Craig said with the birthdays. That's an easy thing to do. I use Mailbox Power. I go in and I'm like, okay, how many people do I not still have a birthday for? Those are the ones I'm calling right away, getting their birthdays and then setting them in, putting their information right into the birthday thing, and they get brownies and a card from me for their birthdays. And we do the same thing for every person that closes. I think I've talked about this before. I send them an anniversary gift and an anniversary card, not for their marriage, because I don't know who's coming and going and who's died and who's back to life again. So we just do it for the anniversary of when they sell their house or buy their house. And then I send the same thing to the new people that bought my listing. So I have picked up very strategically new sellers on the same house that I've sold 4 or 5 times because they keep getting my anniversary gifts to the new people. It's very easy. Go, if you can't find your closing document, go to Property Appraiser and you can look up who the new people are and just put their name on there instead of John Smith, who is now moved over to, Tampa or something. So, and then you need to make sure that your marketing efforts are appealing to your new target. So if you're going for luxury, and I will say, I have to give kudos to my girl, Sherry Jolly. She came in and got her certification with EXP. She went and paid a lot of money for a really nice luxury spread, figured everything out that was going on within EXP luxury certification, and she's killing it. And she did the studying knowing to make sure she had a certain type of watch on in her pictures and whatever. So she looks the look. She's doing a great job down in Georgia. I'm real proud of her for that. But that is definitely something, if you're going to do a different piece, if you're selling commercial, you're not going to show up in court in shorts. You're going to show up in a suit and tie, hopefully, right? Or at least something very more business professional than our surfing shorts here in Florida. So but your social media is second, if not first, in my book, to your CRM, because that's where everybody lives. And you can use your social media almost as a playbook for what you're putting in your CRM. You can contact people in social media and have conversations with them, copy and paste the conversation and drop in your CRM. Now you just hit 2 birds with 1 stone. The next is virtual tours. So if you're not comfortable with your cell phone and you cannot talk to your cell phone, go practice. And when I say practice, just do it 1 take. I tell my team all the time, 1 take with your video. If you mess up, it's okay. It makes you human and they want to keep watching. They don't want scripted HGTV. They want real stuff. The times that I have fallen down the stairs on Facebook Live, I've sold my houses very quickly. And when I face planted over a dog because I didn't think the owners left the dog behind, that one sold in an hour. Like, it's just, people want real life. They don't want to hear a robot. So get your thoughts together, run through it a few times so it feels good off the tongue, and then just hit record. If you do that, you will pick up more clients. Do it on your houses. Every time I have a listing and the photographer's there, I'm there too. And then as soon as they leave, everything's still good. The lights are on, the house looks great. The owners are out of the house. I go right to Facebook Live and I do a video tour narrated out loud. Sometimes it's 10 or 15 minutes, and it's not looking for every person to buy that house. I'm looking for the one person 10 or 15 times. I've sold a ton of houses in my day based on just Facebook Live without spending a freaking dollar. I spend so much money on advertising, and that is always the best one. And the more you do it, the more your local realtors, if they're on your Facebook page, will start tuning in, and then they're sharing it, and their clients are like, oh my gosh, get me into that house. Super easy. So leverage what you have, and then you can download it and put it out to Instagram, LinkedIn. I put it out to all my socials, YouTube, and you can put all the parameters around it. So don't make it difficult. And then if you have a particular house, I usually save it for either a house that has a weird floor plan or a luxury house. I will have my photographers go ahead and do the virtual tours so I can get it out on the Zillow and other places. And that's another one for you to market and run advertising on. So these are all very simple things that you guys can do. And then networking is humongous. So if you're trying to break into a new niche to up your sales or change, just adding more client base and more opportunities to market to more types of people, then you definitely need to, you want to network with people that are already in that industry. So if you're going to go after the 55 and overs, start visiting 55 and over communities. And also I would be visiting the assisted living facilities and talking to them. I sponsor a lot of them down here because I know I can go in and sell their houses once they get moved in if I'm friends with the people who are selling those spaces in the assisted living. And so they need to completely get out of their house. The 55 and overs are usually downsizing a lot of times right out of a luxury house. So I'm networking where the luxury people are hanging out. I'm hanging out around the 55 and over communities. And now I have 3 in one area that I'm managing one niche to satisfy 3 niches all in one, right? So as you master one, then you go master another one. But for Q4, pick one new one and go run with it. And don't ever stop talking about it. You should be talking about it in your sleep to the point where your spouse or your significant other, your cat or dog is bitch slapping you to shut up about it, because then you know it's rolling off your tongue. And so, and then obviously we have online communities. You can market to other realtors. You know that, Cameron's a superstar on the West Coast. I've actually sent him a referral for a luxury client of mine that likes to buy a lot of properties. Why? Because I know he's going to handle it and take great care of it and make sure that he's making me look good by sending him those. So make friends around the country of people that like and trust, or build that relationship up. So when you do have someone, you can send it to them, but they will also send back. But it doesn't just happen that way. I make sure every quarter I send out very nice emails out of my MailChimp. So it's addressed to each person individually, and I'm reminding them where I'm at. And also what I do over here. So, and how I can help them. And don't forget, I would love to help you back. And I get a lot of referrals in my business. And I've done that as long as I've been in real estate. You have to nurture people and remind them that they're there, because just like Mitch says, why do people hire you to sell their house? It's because you're the one in front of them. Same thing with your referrals. You have to remind these agents, right? And you just put this in a calendar, and just like you would have I have a marketing calendar that's 7 days a week that I scratch off. I have my relationship calendar. I have my sales calendar. I have the Karina's going to take the world over calendar. That's another day. But anyways, and then finally, the biggest thing is that you really need to have communication. So whether you go to video or if you go to newsletters, I think if you're not doing newsletters out to your entire community, you're missing the boat. I bought one back in 2013 when I first started. It was a lot of money. I didn't know how I was going to feed my kids that week because it was $1,000, and I was a brand new realtor in a brand new state, knowing nobody. And I had, I was all of a sudden no longer on a cushy income with the software companies. So that thing has brought me, I still pay for it every year. I don't do anything. It's a ghostwriter. I'll put a link up there on here later if you want to go look at it for yourself. They go to anybody you put in there, they'll put it in. If people want to opt out, they take it out. You can see your metrics or whatever. And I know people watch it because they have this really cool survey that they do every time they send it out every month, and people actually fill it in. When they fill in that survey, I'm calling them before their computer has finished hitting send, because I'm watching for that stuff, right? And I've made a lot of referrals around the country because I have people from all over the country in this thing. And also I've made a lot of quick listings because they're like, hey, depending on whatever the articles are that they're ghostwriting for me. So that's a really great thing. And then if you if you don't want to do something like that, you can create your own newsletter and email it out. This thing's going out by email. It's just that I didn't want to take the time. I try to stay in my lane, right? So stay in my lane is I'm an opener and a closer. I kind of consider myself a little bit of a shark because all I want to do is gobble up everything in my way and get to closing, period. Or getting the next person to the next level so we can get to closing. Closing is always the biggest thing that I'm looking at down the long path, right? And the final thing is you have to continue to learn and grow and get out of your comfort zone. If you're not out of your comfort zone, you are not growing at all. So if you don't have a personal coach and it's a financial burden, make it a financial burden. Go hire a coach. I have 4 I pay for all year long, a lot of money. But guess what? Each one teaches me something different. And then I'm a better coach to my team and to my clients, and it gives me other ideas. So go put some money on the line and do what Craig said. Get rid of 10% or 15% of your wasted spend and spend something on you to make you better. And always ask your clients for feedback and testimonials, because if you don't know really how you really did, right? And I've laughed over some of them where one client actually said he wasn't even sure I was his realtor because I gave him such a big Karina to-do list after he personally fixed up his condo. And there was all these things he missed. But then when I sold it for more money than any other condo at that time in Cocoa Beach, and this was a bottom floor, not even ocean facing, and I beat every number they ever had on the condos at that point. And why? Because I knew what I was doing and I had confidence and I told him the way it was. And he gave me 9 more listings over the years to sell. So, but in his testimonial, he said, I wasn't even sure if Karina was my realtor because you don't know what people are thinking. So now when I give them my to-do list, I bring that to testimonial with me to show them what Mike said. And it's okay. I'll still get you top dollar, even if you hate me right now, because you love me at closing. That's it.
There you go. I love it. Good stuff. Look, it was just flowing. Cam, go. I know we're going over, you guys. We still have 37 people on it. Give me your best tips as fast as possible.
Yeah. So I'm going to go through this business planning. I'm going to reel it in a little bit because business planning, it's helped our next gen agents become #1 in their states in 3 different states, you guys. This is it. You want to become awesome. You need to have a plan. I'm going to show you our plan. Remember though, business plans are constantly changing. Like Craig was saying, you got to be finding what's working, and when it stops working, getting off it. Don't waste money there. But remember that you need to be advertising. You need to be spending money to be tax advantaging, right? So you need to be at least be spending 21%, or it's more like 25%. That way you're not just writing a big old check to the tax man every year. And if you are not spending at least 25% of your income, you need to start doing that. That's how you're going to get a bigger first bucket. That's how you're going to start getting more lead flow. But to jump back on the business plan, the really key part of that is knowing your numbers. Obviously, everybody said that. With that said, though, nobody's showing us really how to break that down. I know I've shown this before, but I've made this workbook, and it literally breaks down how much you want to make, how much your expenses are, how much your profit's going to be. And then it breaks it down all the way to daily quotas. So it means that if you want to make 200 grand this year, that means you got to do 20 deals. That means you need to contact X amount of people, so forth and so forth. And it allows our agents to break down their daily activities, right? Their daily workflow into how many calls, how many contacts, how many people do they need to be actually reaching so that they can reach their income goal that they've set before the end of the year, right? So you have to break those numbers down. That's what our workbook does, is it makes it very, very, very simple. Now, the next gen system that we use that has made these superstar agents, instead of 25% of every check going back into marketing, guess what we do, guys? We make it 50. That's it. That's the big secret. 50% of every check you make goes back into your business for that first 12 months. You're going to see this just explosion of leads. You're going to have more people than you know what to do to call. You're going to be able to fill out all those buckets. You'll be able to hit your quotas, and you're going to go way over your quotas. Guys, to make 200 grand a year, the truth is you only need to talk to 5 people a day. That's it. 200 grand a year, 5 people a day. Now, you want to make $500,000 a year? All right, let's do 20 people a day. Let's do 25 people a day. And you can keep scaling it that way. That's the biggest secret though, you guys. 25%, if you're not putting that back right now, you need to do that. Scale it up to 50%. Let's get going. My biggest quote, you see it in the background, nothing will work unless you do. Okay, that's the truth. So the workbook here, obviously it breaks down your numbers. Then obviously every week it does follow up. So did you hit your numbers? Do you need to change your numbers? Do you need to add more dials, less dials, more contacts, less contacts? And it does that every single week so that you have 52 chances to make the optimized business plan, because it's constantly changing. For at least for me, for our teams, they're doing stuff that works and all of a sudden it just stops working. Then you got to add in another lead system that starts working, and then maybe that one slows down. And you got to constantly be staying on top of your business. And that's what a business plan is, right? That is the very basis of staying on top of your business. So that's the basics. I have a ton more on this stuff, guys. If you want to chat with me, you can always reach out to me, coach@nextgenagent.com. But business planning, if you want to be successful, plan to succeed or you're planning to fail.
Love that. I like that's the way we're supposed to end this thing. Let's everybody have a successful weekend. I mean, Cam brought it home. And look, if you didn't get any tips out of this, then you're not paying attention. There's gold nuggets in this. You guys, we're sharing with you exactly what we're doing, and everything is in the chat. Look, he just threw his whole business plan in the chat. So download that and let's get going, because this is your time to shine. And the key is that this is the fourth quarter. Make no mistake about it. So if you want to have a great first quarter next year, you want to make a ton of money and get off on the right foot, you have to have a strong fourth quarter. Everybody show up, go to work, be committed, be not even committed, be obsessed with what you're doing right now, and invite other people to this mastermind each week, because it will help them, you guys. A lot of agents are hurting. Invite them to this. I don't care what company they're with. Invite them here. We're trying to build better lives for better agents. That's key. All right. So have a great weekend. Thanks for staying on late. 37 people hung in there, which I love. And this will be recorded. We'll go from there. Great seeing you guys.
Thanks.
Good seeing you guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.
Great job.